Are you living on borrowed time with your memory? Imagine a future where precious memories fade, where loved ones become strangers, and where independence slips away, not in a distant, vague future, but as a silent, creeping threat that often starts long before anyone suspects. What if I told you that for millions, this terrifying reality is already a quiet shadow, often dismissed until it's tragically too late? Every single minute, every 65 seconds in the United States, someone develops Alzheimer's disease, the most common form of dementia. But here's the shocking, urgent truth. The earliest, most crucial warning signs are almost always missed, mistaken for normal aging, or simply ignored. This isn't just about occasionally forgetting where you put your keys. This is about recognizing fundamental changes that could alter the very fabric of your life or the life of someone you love. If you wait, if you don't know exactly what to look for, you could be losing out on the most vital window for intervention, for slowing progression, and for preserving precious moments and independence. Don't let that happen. Don't miss this crucial information. Stick around, because in the next few minutes, we are revealing 10 early signs of dementia you absolutely critically can never afford to ignore. Welcome to today's essential discussion about dementia awareness. Dementia isn't a single disease. It's an umbrella term for a range of conditions that affect memory, thinking, and social abilities. The key word here is affects, not completely destroys, at least not initially. This vital distinction is precisely why recognizing these early signs is absolutely critical for getting proper medical care and support. Far too many people assume that significant memory loss is just a normal, unavoidable part of getting older. This dangerous misconception prevents millions from seeking help when interventions could make the biggest, most life-changing difference. While some mild forgetfulness is indeed a normal part of aging, the signs we'll discuss today go far beyond typical age-related changes. Early detection matters more than you might realize. When dementia is caught in its earliest stages, healthcare providers can often prescribe medications and suggest lifestyle changes that may genuinely slow its progression and improve quality of life. Today we'll cover 10 key warning signs. You'll learn how to tell the difference between typical aging and concerning changes, when these signs usually appear, and how they may progress. This isn't about fear, it's about empowerment, early action, and informed care. The sooner dementia is identified, the sooner treatment, lifestyle adjustments, and support systems can begin. If you notice even one persistent change in yourself or someone close to you, don't hesitate. Early recognition can truly make a profound difference. As we explore each sign, think about the people in your life. Have you seen any of these changes? Let's begin. Please note, this video is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Always consult your doctor or emergency services if needed. Memory problems are often the very first sign people notice when dementia begins to develop, serving as a critical early indicator. However, it's crucial to understand that not all memory issues are created equal, and distinguishing between normal forgetfulness and concerning memory loss is absolutely vital. The core distinction lies in how these memory problems interfere with daily functioning and a person's independence. Normal age-related memory changes are typically minor and might include occasionally misplacing your keys, struggling momentarily to recall someone's name during a conversation, or needing a reminder for an appointment. These moments, while frustrating, generally don't significantly impact your ability to live independently or manage your daily life. In stark contrast, dementia-related memory problems are far more persistent, severe, and begin to actively interfere with routine activities. People experiencing early dementia frequently forget recently learned information or important dates and events, often to a startling degree. A common and troubling sign is repeatedly asking the same questions within minutes of receiving an answer, even if the answer was clear and immediate. This isn't simply absent-mindedness, it's a consistent, troubling pattern of being genuinely unable to retain new information, even despite repeated exposure. Short-term memory loss is almost always the first significant decline, A person might forget recent conversations, what they ate for their last meal, struggle to follow simple instructions, or miss appointments even after noting them down. Meanwhile, long-term memories from years past usually remain surprisingly intact, which can lead to profound confusion for both the individual and their loved ones, as they might remember distant past events with perfect clarity. Emotionally, this experience can be deeply distressing. Many individuals realize something is wrong with their memory before others do, and they may begin to avoid social situations out of embarrassment or attempt to hide the issue by relying heavily on notes or constantly asking others to repeat things. Family members often first notice these progressive memory changes during everyday interactions, such as a parent repeating questions, forgetting recent family gatherings, or struggling with once familiar tasks like cooking a favorite recipe or remembering a grandchild's birthday. While the rate of memory decline varies, with some experiencing a slow, subtle change and others a more rapid onset, occasional forgetfulness is normal. However, ongoing memory issues that consistently affect daily life and independence should always be promptly checked by a doctor. Healthcare providers will carefully evaluate how memory impacts work, personal relationships, and overall independence, often using specific tests, reviewing medical history, and in some cases, conducting brain scans to rule out other causes. If memory problems persist and are a cause for concern, seeking help early is paramount. Even if it's not dementia, an early evaluation can help manage symptoms and plan ahead effectively. One of the most telling and often heartbreaking early signs of dementia is when someone begins struggling with tasks they've performed countless times before, activities that were once second nature. These are not new, complicated, or challenging endeavors. Rather, they are routine tasks that have been an effortless part of daily life for years, even decades. This difficulty represents a significant breakdown in procedural memory and executive function that goes far beyond what is considered normal aging. Consider activities like carefully balancing a checkbook, following a beloved family recipe, or operating familiar household appliances. These tasks require multiple cognitive skills to work together seamlessly. Memory recall, sustained attention, problem-solving abilities, and the capacity for sequencing steps. When dementia begins to affect the brain, these complex cognitive processes start to unravel, making once familiar tasks suddenly feel foreign, overwhelming, and even impossible. The progression of this symptom often starts subtly. Someone might begin taking significantly longer to complete routine tasks, or they may need to concentrate far harder on activities that were once automatic and effortless. They might skip essential steps in familiar processes or become completely confused partway through completing a task they've performed thousands of times before. Early signs of cognitive decline frequently appear as struggles with everyday technology. For instance, someone who once used a smartphone or computer with ease may suddenly forget basic functions or become utterly confused by familiar apps. Similar issues can arise with driving, leading to concerning instances of getting lost in well-known areas, forgetting basic traffic rules, or mismanaging finances, such as paying the same bill twice or misreading bank statements. Household tasks also become progressively difficult. Cooking familiar meals or performing minor home repairs can feel profoundly overwhelming, not due to physical limitations, but directly because of these underlying cognitive changes. These challenges often lead to deep frustration, anxiety, or social withdrawal, accompanied by noticeable shifts in mood. It's vitally important to distinguish between occasional, understandable mistakes and ongoing, consistent problems. When these difficulties become frequent and significantly impact a person's independence and safety, a comprehensive medical evaluation is absolutely essential. Early diagnosis can identify conditions like dementia, but it can also uncover other treatable issues such as vision or hearing problems, or even medication side effects, ensuring that the right support and interventions are provided promptly. Experiencing trouble finding the right words, engaging in conversations, or understanding what others are saying is another prominent early sign of dementia. These difficulties often manifest as struggles with word finding, comprehending conversations, or expressing one's thoughts clearly and coherently. Unlike the occasional temporary forgetfulness with names or words that many people experience, dementia-related language problems are persistent, progressive, and significantly interfere with daily communication. Word-finding difficulties, scientifically known as anomia, are frequently among the very first language problems to appear. Individuals might pause mid-sentence, visibly searching for common, everyday words that seem just out of reach. They might resort to describing objects instead of naming them, saying the thing you write with instead of simply pen. These are not isolated moments of temporary blank-mindedness. They are consistent, growing struggles with accessing vocabulary that was once readily available and effortlessly used. Following conversations becomes increasingly challenging as dementia progresses. Someone might lose track of the topic being discussed, repeatedly ask questions that were just answered, or appear utterly confused by the natural flow of dialogue. They may have particular difficulty with complex conversations involving multiple topics or several speakers, often becoming overwhelmed and withdrawing in group settings. Reading comprehension also frequently declines alongside verbal communication skills. A person who was once an avid reader might struggle to follow storylines in books or newspapers, find themselves reading the same paragraph multiple times without understanding its meaning, or lose track of characters and plot developments they could previously follow easily. Language difficulties often appear early and affect various forms of communication. Writing may become messy, and organizing thoughts, choosing appropriate words, or even spelling familiar words can become unexpectedly hard. Repetitive speech is also common. People may tell the same stories or ask the same questions repeatedly, often not realizing they are doing so. Following complex instructions becomes harder, especially those with multiple steps. These pervasive challenges often cause deep frustration and lead to social withdrawal, as individuals become acutely aware of their struggles. For family and friends, noticing shorter conversations or difficulty engaging in group settings can be concerning. Patience is key when communicating. Speak slowly, use simple, direct sentences, and allow ample time for the person to respond without trying to finish their thoughts for them. Speech-language pathologists can provide assessments and offer strategies to support communication. Early help can significantly reduce frustration and help keep individuals engaged in social interactions. If language issues persistently disrupt daily life, a comprehensive medical evaluation is crucial to check for dementia or other underlying causes. Disorientation to time and place represents one of the most concerning and distinct early signs of dementia, often appearing subtly before becoming more pronounced and impacting safety. This goes far beyond occasionally forgetting what day it is or losing track of time while deeply engaged in an activity. Dementia-related disorientation involves consistent, deeply ingrained confusion about temporal relationships, time, and spatial awareness, place, that significantly impacts daily functioning and independence. Time disorientation often manifests first as profound confusion about dates, the current season, or the general passage of time. Someone might genuinely believe it's morning when it's actually late evening, or think it's the middle of winter during summer months. They may lose track of how much time has passed during activities, spending hours on tasks that typically take minutes, or becoming impatient when activities take their normal duration, convinced they should be finished already. Understanding sequences of events also becomes problematic. A person might become confused about whether something happened yesterday, last week, or even last month. They may have significant difficulty understanding concepts like later today or next week, making it incredibly challenging to plan activities, keep appointments, or manage their schedule. Getting lost in familiar places is a deeply unsettling sign of spatial disorientation. At first, this confusion may occur in slightly new places, like a different grocery store or an unfamiliar restaurant. But over time, it can tragically happen even within one's own home or neighborhood. People may forget the locations of rooms in their own house, struggle with directions or maps, and become completely confused by GPS navigation. Temporal disorientation can also cause people to dress inappropriately for the season, not from stubbornness, but from a genuine, profound confusion about the time of year. These issues pose serious safety risks. Individuals may wander and get lost, leave stoves on unattended, or miss critical medical appointments. Loved ones often first notice these concerning signs when someone starts getting lost on familiar routes or expresses confusion about dates and seasons. Technology like reminder apps and GPS trackers can provide some help early on, but as symptoms worsen, consistent supervision may become necessary for safety. Disorientation can cause deep fear, anxiety, and depression in individuals experiencing it. A professional medical evaluation is critically important to accurately assess the condition, recommend safety measures, and provide much-needed support for both the individual and their caregivers. Early intervention helps families plan effectively and strive to maintain independence for as long as possible. Changes in judgment and decision-making abilities often represent some of the most challenging early signs of dementia for families to recognize, understand, and address. These changes go far beyond the occasional poor choices or lapses in judgment that everyone makes from time to time. Instead, they represent a fundamental concerning shift in how someone processes information, weighs options, and makes decisions that directly affect their safety, well-being, and financial stability. Financial judgment frequently shows some of the earliest signs of cognitive decline. Someone might make unusually large, impulsive purchases they cannot afford, fall victim to scams they would have easily recognized and dismissed before, or give away significant sums of money to questionable charities or causes. They may become either extremely generous to the point of financial harm or unusually suspicious of legitimate financial institutions and trustworthy advice. As judgment declines, personal safety often becomes severely compromised. People may routinely leave doors unlocked, become overly suspicious of familiar individuals, continue driving despite clear risks, or conversely, stop driving entirely out of an irrational fear. Hygiene and self-care can also suffer significantly, leading to neglect of personal grooming, wearing inappropriate clothing for the weather or occasion, or ignoring serious health symptoms. These changes stem from cognitive decline affecting reasoning, not from laziness, intentional defiance, or depression. Social judgment may also deteriorate, leading to instances of oversharing personal information, making inappropriate comments, or having difficulty understanding social boundaries and cues. Medical decisions also become unreliable. Individuals might refuse necessary care, forget to take crucial medications, or severely misjudge the seriousness of their own symptoms. Families often face immense challenges in addressing these issues without appearing controlling or disrespectful. Empathy, patience, and early professional evaluation are vital to distinguish dementia-related changes from other potential causes. Legal and financial planning, including establishing powers of attorney and healthcare directives, should be addressed proactively and early in the process to preserve autonomy and ensure the individual's protection and best interests are always maintained. Misplacing items and being consistently unable to retrace one's steps represents a particularly frustrating and often alarming early sign of dementia that profoundly affects daily life in numerous ways. While everyone occasionally misplaces keys, glasses, or their phone, dementia-related item misplacement follows different, more concerning patterns and creates significantly more problems than typical forgetfulness. The key difference lies in both the alarming frequency of these occurrences and the truly unusual, illogical locations where items are often found. Someone with early dementia might put milk in the pantry instead of the refrigerator, place car keys in the freezer, or store important documents in completely illogical or hidden locations. These are not simple, understandable mistakes. They reflect fundamental changes in cognitive processing that affect logical thinking, memory formation, and the ability to organize information. Losing items is especially challenging for people with dementia because they often cannot retrace their steps or apply logical reasoning to find what's missing. This makes finding lost items incredibly difficult and can sadly lead to painful accusations of theft, causing significant stress and breakdown in relationships with family members or caregivers. Early on, items may be misplaced in logical but incorrect places. However, as dementia progresses, things may end up in truly strange and baffling spots, such as clothes being found in the kitchen or food being stored in bedroom drawers. Losing essential items like medications, identification, or financial documents can have serious consequences, and safety becomes a major concern when dangerous objects go missing. The emotional toll of constantly losing things is significant. Individuals often feel deeply frustrated, anxious, and embarrassed, which can worsen other symptoms like mood changes and agitation. Some may develop coping strategies, such as keeping duplicates of important items or designating one specific storage spot for everything. But these often fail as the condition worsens. Families can help by organizing the home, reducing clutter, and labeling drawers or containers. Technology like key finders and smart home devices may offer some assistance if the person can still understand and use them. Occupational therapists can also suggest practical home changes and strategies to improve organization. It's crucial to respond to confusion and accusations with empathy and understanding, not frustration, recognizing that these behaviors are symptoms of the disease, not intentional acts. Mood and behavior changes often represent some of the most challenging aspects of early dementia, not only for the individuals experiencing them, but also for their families and caregivers. These changes can be subtle initially, but they tend to become more pronounced and disruptive over time, profoundly affecting relationships, social interactions, and overall quality of life. Understanding these changes as genuine symptoms of the disease rather than personality flaws or intentional acts is absolutely crucial for maintaining compassionate and supportive relationships. Depression and anxiety frequently emerge as early signs of dementia, sometimes appearing months or even years before more obvious memory problems become noticeable. Individuals may experience persistent sadness, excessive worry, or a profound sense of hopelessness that seems unrelated to their current circumstances. These mood changes are not simply reactions to aging or difficult life changes. They often reflect direct chemical and structural brain changes associated with developing dementia. Behavioral changes like increased irritability, agitation, and apathy are also common and can severely strain relationships. A person who was once patient and easygoing may now overreact to minor issues, lash out unexpectedly, or become easily angered. They might withdraw from cherished hobbies, lose interest in social activities, or stop engaging in once enjoying pastimes, not due to laziness, but because of underlying changes in the brain. Paranoia may develop, leading to unfounded suspicions of others, accusing family members of theft, or believing they are being watched. Sleep disturbances, such as chronic insomnia or a reversed sleep cycle, being awake at night and sleeping during the day, are also very common and can significantly worsen other dementia symptoms. Social withdrawal often occurs as people begin to notice their own cognitive decline, leading to increased isolation and further exacerbating mood issues. Personality shifts can be particularly upsetting for loved ones. Someone who was once outgoing and vivacious may become quiet and reserved, or a previously reserved person may act inappropriately or lose their inhibitions. These changes vary significantly by individual and can also be influenced by overall health and environmental factors. It's vital to distinguish dementia-related symptoms from other potential causes, such as medications, physical illness, or other mental health conditions. Treatment may include specific medications, creating structured and predictable environments, and implementing behavioral strategies to manage challenging symptoms. Family support and education are key to understanding and managing these changes while striving to preserve relationships and the individual's dignity. Social withdrawal represents a significant early warning sign of dementia that often develops gradually and can easily be misinterpreted as normal aging, a temporary phase, or simply a preference for solitude. This withdrawal goes far beyond occasional preferences for quiet evenings at home. It involves a persistent and concerning pattern of avoiding social interactions, work activities, and hobbies that were previously enjoyed, valued, and actively participated in. Social withdrawal often starts subtly, perhaps with an individual skipping one or two social events or making frequent excuses to avoid gatherings. People may begin to stop attending regular activities they once loved, cease participating at work or in volunteer roles, or lose interest in hobbies that once brought them joy. These changes often signal deeper underlying issues, especially in those with early dementia who may actively avoid social settings specifically to hide their growing memory problems, communication difficulties, or cognitive struggles. The fear of embarrassment, coupled with increasing anxiety and depression, often contributes to this withdrawal, creating a debilitating cycle of increasing isolation. Family relationships may suffer as the individual pulls away, and the lack of social interaction can unfortunately speed up both cognitive and physical decline. Early intervention is paramount in addressing this symptom. Loved ones can offer crucial support by gently encouraging participation in manageable activities, offering company for outings, and seeking professional help to address any underlying mood issues or cognitive concerns. Maintaining social connections and engagement is incredibly important, as it helps preserve mental sharpness, emotional well-being, and a sense of purpose for as long as possible. Changes in sleep patterns represent a frequently overlooked but highly significant early sign of dementia that can have far-reaching negative effects on cognitive function, mood, and overall health. These changes go beyond typical age-related variations in sleep quality and often involve dramatic alterations in sleep-wake cycles that significantly disrupt both the individual's life and the household. Insomnia is one of the most common sleep disturbances in early dementia, characterized by persistent difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, or both. Someone might lie awake for hours each night, unable to quiet their mind or find comfort. This isn't the occasional sleepless night everyone experiences. It's a persistent, debilitating pattern that leaves individuals exhausted, disoriented, and negatively affects their daytime functioning. Sleep disturbances common in dementia also include frequent night wakings, profound confusion upon waking, and persistent difficulty returning to sleep. Some individuals experience a complete day-night reversal, staying awake and active throughout the night and sleeping during the day, which severely disrupts routines for both them and their caregivers. As dementia progresses, restless sleep, vivid and often disturbing dreams, and increased movement or wandering during the night may occur, leading to unrefreshing sleep. These pervasive issues often stem from brain changes directly caused by dementia, but they can also be exacerbated by anxiety, depression, and medication side effects. Environmental factors, such as an unfamiliar bedroom or changes in daily routine, can also significantly impact sleep. Poor sleep consistently worsens other dementia symptoms, increases the risk of falls and accidents, and negatively impacts mood and immune function. Daytime fatigue, reduced concentration, and increased susceptibility to accidents are common consequences. Treatment includes establishing good sleep hygiene, consistent bedtime, dark room, quiet, creating comfortable sleep environments, and in some cases, specific medications. Caregivers also need support and professional guidance to manage these challenging sleep patterns and ensure safety and rest for all involved. Finally, trouble with visual and spatial relationships represents a complex and often puzzling early sign of dementia that affects how people perceive and interact with their physical environment. These problems go beyond normal vision changes associated with aging, like needing reading glasses. Instead, they involve fundamental alterations in how the brain processes visual information and understands spatial relationships. Early signs of visual spatial problems include poor depth perception, making tasks like using stairs, escalators, or curbs surprisingly difficult and hazardous. These issues stem from the brain's processing of visual input, not from eye problems themselves. Reading often becomes much harder due to trouble tracking lines of text, skipping words, or losing one's place on a page. Even familiar documents or maps may seem confusing and impenetrable. Driving can become exceptionally unsafe as judging distances, parking, and navigating traffic grow increasingly difficult and dangerous. Distinguishing between colors and contrasts also frequently declines, affecting daily tasks like choosing appropriate clothing, finding items against a background, or noticing important environmental cues. Balance and coordination often suffer as well, significantly increasing the risk of falls and making it harder to move around safely or perform tasks needing precision. Some individuals may even become confused by mirrors or reflections, not recognizing themselves or reacting fearfully to their own image. Symptoms typically worsen over time, progressing from struggling with maps or directions to profound difficulty with basic tasks like reaching for an object or walking safely through a doorway. Navigation in even known places can become deeply confusing, especially in complex or multi-level spaces. These issues raise serious safety risks, such as falls or accidents due to poor spatial judgment. Emotionally, people may feel anxious, frustrated, and increasingly dependent as they lose these fundamental abilities. Professional evaluation is crucial to distinguish between simple eye problems and brain-related visual processing issues. Adapting environments, such as improving lighting, using contrasting colors for walls and floors, and creating clear, uncluttered paths, can significantly support safer and easier navigation.